Well, welcome to the Beyond Cinema studio up here at Sundance, Brett, Janicza. Firstly, congratulations on having your film up here at Sundance. It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and also that it's kind of birthed by both of you must make that a kind of extra special, experience for sure.
Yeah, it feels like we've been cooking a child for a few years, and tonight it comes out of the oven, and I hope it's delicious.
Have you screened it with any sort of audience yet?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Not like a real audience. We showed it to our representation and then some of the cast, and they were very generous and lovely. But tonight will be our first proper outing with people that we don't know.
And it must be also pretty interesting because it seems like the collection of people who worked on the film with you are people who popped up throughout your careers in different parts. So it's like a collection of people kind of close from home, friends, relationships that you've had for a while. So you get to kind of take them on the road now and have this experience too. It must be pretty different.
Yeah, it's great that some people like Michael Cera and Judy Greer, friends of ours, have been attached for the 5 years that we were trying to make it. So it's great to be here with that. Yeah, there's a lot of friends involved with it.
Is that empowering, like having been, obviously on the flip side of the camera, in front of the camera in this, but in a lot of things that you do, getting to then make those calls and say, we're hiring you, to make those calls? And
it's not really good. It doesn't really go like that. It goes, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Oh, thank God. That's more how it goes.
Please.
Yeah, it's not like, we've selected you. No, it was please do this.
Yeah, there's like begging and like a lot of like tension in our own bodies of whether or not they would say yes. And then they said yes, and now it feels very casual, but it was not a casual lead up.
Did anyone say no?
I'm sure. I mean, of course, like every day of my life. But we don't need to talk about them.
We got the
we
yeses.
Showed them.
We got the best yeses we could have gotten. I mean, we're really very lucky to have the cast and crew that we have on this.
The cast list is, just the names that are on there. So, like Judy Greer, Michael Cera, Shiri Appleby, Neil Long, Fred, Rhea Perlman, David Paymer. It's like it just keeps going, right? It's who was the first piece of the puzzle that came on board?
Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Was the first person to say yes. He read an early draft of the movie that Brett shared. I didn't want him to share it, and it was terrible, but he said yes to it and read it in a day. And so he was our first yes, and this was 5 years ago. And then Judy was our second yes, and Fred was our third yes, and then they've been with us since then.
So 5 years ago, when you guys are concocting this, what was the road ahead? What did that look like? Like, did you know you guys were going to just make it no matter what, that this was going to be the passion project?
Yeah, I think that, I didn't kind of foresee how long it would take, but I thought it would take a while based on so many other friends in the independent community. It just takes a while to make. It's hard to make movies, and it takes a while to make movies that are a little bit challenging, and so I thought it would take a while. I thought it was going to take a little less time, but now that we're here in this moment, and I think back, 5 years actually doesn't feel like that long.
Yeah.
It felt long while it was happening, but I think that it's like exactly how long it took is what it needed to take for us to arrive at this moment,
right. And it's interesting that other people are arriving at certain moments, like Joy, who shot the, did she shoot the film?
Joy McMillan? No, she edited the movie,
film. Yeah. So coming, like with Moonlight out right now, that's getting so much heat as well, so it's like, must be great to be able to celebrate other people at the same time.
Oh, totally. It's a big celebration of our cast and crew and everybody's hard work, and a lot of people have been working very hard for this moment. They've had their own sort of lead up to this, and a lot of our crew, it was also first times for some people. It was our production designer's first time helming a project. It was Joy's first solo credit on a feature. It was my composer's first credit on a feature, but they were people
my first lead.
was Brett's first lead. But there were people that I had worked with or had relationships with, except for the production designer and the DP. Most of the people I'd met before or had some sort of exchange with.
And first time A Million Matzo Balls has been used in a movie?
Yes, I think so, actually.
Shout out
did
to
you hear
Dean
that
Friedman.
song? It's a really great song. It's A Million Matzo Balls. It's written by Dean Friedman. I first heard the song when I was 19 or 20 years old at my first Seder. And my friend, Ruthie Oland, his family is friends with Dean Friedman. And they thought he was maybe going to come to the party. And it was like a huge deal because he was a celebrity. And they kept talking about like how Dean was going to come and he was going to come. And anyways, Dean didn't come because he got held up at someone else's like Passover. But we listened to A Million Matzo Balls, I think like 500,000 times, and I thought it was fantastic. I mean, it's a children's song, but I thought it was so wonderful.
Yeah. So talk to me about this attraction with people who are quote unquote socially debilitated.
I think that that's a really sexy kind of thing for us. We both independently and together are into protagonists that are broken. I'm much more interested in seeing somebody fail than see somebody win. I mean, I think most people are. It's like, it's more of a journey and it's more thrilling. And so those who are broken also tend to not have the needed tools for living life at its most optimal. And that just seems like a really rich space for comedy and darkness and tragedy, which are like all of our favorite things.
Yeah, if you show people's flaws, it gives an audience more something to really connect to and really identify with. And we hope, the biggest hope we have with the movie and an audience's reaction is that they relate to the darkness of where my character is at.
So talk to me about Isaac. What's his thing?
His thing, well, the movie opens with his girlfriend of 10 years leaving him, who's played by Judy Greer.
Blind girlfriend.
She does not have, yeah, she is blind. And he's teaching this horrible acting class, and Michael is my star protege, and I don't want to ruin it, but things start to really unravel at the cap of the movie, So
yeah, he's a character that feels left. He feels left by his life. It's as if everyone has walked away from him, and I think some of that feeling that people are walking away is perhaps some reflection of his failure or less thanness is what that feels like it's a product of.
He's dealing with our greatest fear. It was her idea of the film, but we shared this fear, and I think a lot of people share this fear that you wake up one day and you're not where you're at, and you didn't think you'd be there by now. You think you'd be farther, and then you.
I don't feel that way at all. I feel incredibly confident and totally happy about everything.
No, it was just like she was looking at me, and she was like, "This loser's this way."
I was like,
"No, but
failure."
And then you the biggest fear, even worse than where you're actually at, is do you actually possess the tools to get to where you want to go? So that's really what my character's journey is about. It's about not only being faced with the dark place he's in, but is he even capable to get beyond being stuck?
It is like, it's weird. You can do all the study you need to do and be in all the places and take all the courses, but if the work doesn't come, the work doesn't come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for you guys, like being self-generative, like through, even like the UCB stuff or whatever, like that takes like a certain amount of every day I'm going to get up and do X. Right?
Yeah.
So as like kind of for filmmakers who are just getting off the ground, I know like Destin has a thank you, Destin Cretton, in the movie as well, right? So like people who are like kind of grinding it on the indie scene, or like people who are just starting out, what is that one thing that you felt like you could take control of every day in order to make these things sort of happen?
Oh, I didn't feel like I could take control of anything really. Felt like everything was sort of out of my hands in some ways. I mean, it's both. You know, you are sort of like clawing at the thing and taking a hold of it constantly, but it's also in many ways out of your hands because the more people you invite into the process, the more you have to talk about it, and the more you have to include people because they want to be heard and they want to feel visible. And so it's not so much about it's how you share control and share space and make people feel like they're a part of it.
Yeah, and I'll also say about her is that she did have control. She controlled her vision of what the film needed to be, and it took us 5 years to make it. We weren't going to back down on anything. You know, why make it if it wasn't going to be how it should be? But we were really lucky to have enough people surrounding us who believed in what she saw it as.
Yeah.
So
final question: if you have one visual, obviously films are cinematic visual medium. There's one visual from the film that sticks in your mind when you think about it. When someone says Lemon, what is that visual around this project?
You mean like a moment in the film, a still from the film?
Yeah.
Gosh, there's so many. Brett, what's yours? I'm gonna think on mine as you say.
well,
it.
I don't want to ruin moments in the film.
No, go ahead because by the time this is,
Yeah.
it'll be after.
Oh, I think when there's a moment where I shit that I think really
And I'm like, wait,
encapsulates the
that's
film.
like in a really particular part.
Okay, well, never mind. No,
Scratch
that's off the
it,
record.
scratch
That's
it,
off the record.
scratch
Okay, we
it.
can edit that out, right?
Scratch
That's a
it.
visual that
Okay,
pops
okay. I'm officially requesting for that to be removed from the record. I think him. I think that him standing
my
alone. I think him standing alone with everybody's gaze on him and everyone judging him and him not knowing how to make them stop, and him, even if he tries, that makes them judge him even more. So there's several moments like that where I'm a solitary standing beacon of disappointment, and a lot of the moments that happen are what the visual metaphor of the film is for me.
I would say mine is a scene a third of the way into the movie, and it's Brett and Judy, and it's their breakup scene. That's all I'll say.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. Congrats on the film being here.
Thank
I know
you so
it's going
much.
to Rotterdam next as well. So
Yeah.
In like
you get
3
to travel
days.
with it?
Yeah, it's opening the festival. It's crazy.
Very cool. So enjoy the journey, and we're thankful for having you for a few minutes here today.
We're
Great,
thankful
thank
for being
you.
here. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.